Would you rather scroll Instagram for 30 minutes or scroll your bank balance and actually smile? And be honest, because one of those habits builds your brain, while the other just builds someone else's follower count. But here's the kicker. Millionaires. They don't stumble into wealth, they build it, brick by brick, habit by habit, every single day. I think this video is one of the most important in this financial freedom series because today we're diving into the 9 daily habits that guarantee you start thinking, acting, and eventually earning like a millionaire. And spoiler alert, if you're not doing at least 3 of these already, you're not early in your journey, you're simply walking in the wrong direction. This video could be a life-changing experience for you, so please listen to me carefully. 9. Start your day with purpose. First up, let me guess. Your current morning routine involves waking up late, slapping snooze, staring at your phone, and wondering where your life went wrong. Cool. That's also how to become a financial cautionary tale on Reddit. Millionaires, they don't just have mornings, they dominate them. Why? Because the way you start your day is the way you build your life. And once I explain this to you, you'll start to understand. Study after study shows that high-income earners wake up at least 2 to 3 hours before the average person. That means, while you're drooling on your pillow, someone else is investing, reading, journaling, cold plunging, or doing 100 push-ups while listening to a motivational podcast narrated by Morgan Freeman. Here's the step-by-step formula I want you to follow. Wake up early. Not 4 a.m. unless you're The Rock, but earlier than your excuses. No phone for the first 30 minutes. Don't let the algorithm hijack your brain. Move your body, energy isn't found, it's created. Focus your mind, read, meditate, plan your day. Even 60 minutes of structured, intentional morning time will do more for your net worth than any life hack you saw on TikTok. Millionaires don't wake up for alarms, they wake up for opportunity. But I'm not a morning person. Cool, you're also not a millionaire yet. Is that a coincidence? If you want to earn like the 1%, you have to start by thinking like the 1%. And that begins with what you put in your mind every single day. 8. Embrace continuous learning. Pop quiz. If you read just 10 pages of a personal development or finance book every day, how many pages would you get through in a year? More than 3,600. That's about 10 average-sized books you'd have finished while your neighbor is still tweeting about reality TV drama. Learning is the new earning. And this is what I'll explain to you, so listen closely. Millionaires have one universal trait. They never stop learning. Whether it's reading, online courses, podcasts, or even going to conferences, they treat knowledge like a currency. Mark Cuban reads 3 hours a day. Elon Musk taught himself rocket science by reading. Need we say more? Bold truth. If your brain isn't growing, your bank account probably isn't either. Remember, the marketplace pays you for the value you bring. If you want to earn more, you have to learn more. It's that straightforward. And look, your brain is the most profitable asset you'll ever own. Let me give you the mistake I used to make, and then I'll give you the solution. What do most people do with their minds? They load it up with memes, celebrity drama, and viral TikToks of people making avocado toast shaped like Drake's face. Meanwhile, millionaires treat their minds like investment portfolios. They compound knowledge daily, not occasionally, not when they're in the mood, every single day. Whether it's audiobooks, podcasts, finance YouTube channels like this one, newsletters, or just good old-fashioned reading, the goal is simple. Spend 30 to 60 minutes every day consuming information that levels you up. You don't need a Harvard MBA. You need habitual wisdom acquisition. And guess what? It's free. You can literally YouTube your way into millionaire thinking if you're consistent enough. Reading 10 pages of a book won't make me rich. True, but neither will watching 10 episodes of Love Island, and only one of those is stealing your future. So ask yourself, are you entertaining yourself into poverty or educating yourself into wealth? Now, once your brain is fed, it's time to feed the beast that's going to pay your future bills, your skills. By the way, if you're still watching at this point, I just want to say that Stealth Wealth is more than just preaching money habits. We've created step-by-step videos explaining exactly how to master the money game. When you finish watching this, go back and watch our Financial Freedom series. And as always, make sure to subscribe to the channel. 7. Learn one high-income skill and practice it daily. Here's the uncomfortable truth no one told you in school. Nobody's getting rich off memorizing the Pythagorean theorem or writing essays on 18th century French poetry. Before I explain what I mean, let me remind you of a rule I always repeat. Money follows value, and value follows skill. Every millionaire either learned a skill people pay big money for, built a system around that skill, or hired someone who did. You need a high-income skill in your arsenal. Period. Copywriting, coding, closing, sales, digital marketing. Even better, learn how to communicate, because the ability to sell ideas, persuade, and lead is worth more than a PhD. And it's not just about learning. It's about deliberate daily practice. Want to be a copywriter? Write every day. Want to be a YouTuber? Script, shoot, repeat. Want to build businesses? Study, test, fail, repeat. Millionaires don't wait to be picked. They practice until they can't be ignored. But I don't have time? Cool. You'll have even less time when you're 50 and broke. But having a skill isn't enough if your finances look like a crime scene. So let's fix that next. Sixth, track every dollar, like it's a spy thriller. Quick question. If I asked you right now how much you spent last month, down to the last $50, could you tell me? If your answer is, probably not, congratulations. You are financially asleep at the wheel. Millionaires aren't afraid of money. They track it, analyze it, and most importantly, control it. Here's the millionaire money habit most people skip. They know where every dollar is going, daily. They track income. They monitor expenses. They analyze ROI on time and cash. And they course correct fast when things start leaking. You don't have to become a spreadsheet psychopath. Apps like YNAB, Mint, or just a Google Sheet can do wonders. But the point is this: if you don't respect your money, it won't respect you. You can't grow what you don't measure. And you can't scale what you don't manage. Every dollar should have a job, even if that job is to sit quietly and multiply. But tracking my spending is boring. So is being broke. Pick your pain. Now let's talk about the millionaire habit that separates the daydreamers from the doers. And no, it's not just about setting goals. 5. Set one clear money goal every day and ruthlessly prioritize it. The problem with most people is that they wander through life like it's a mall with no map. Millionaires? They walk in like they own the place, with a game plan, a list, and laser focus. Here's the deal. Vague goals create vague results. Get rich someday is not a strategy. It's a wish. Millionaires get specific, and they do it daily. Make $500 from freelancing this week. Invest $1,000 by the 15th. Finish the sales page by 6 p.m. Book 3 sales calls by Friday. And here's the secret. They don't just set these goals. They ruthlessly prioritize them. If that one money-generating task isn't done, nothing else matters. Not emails, not Instagram, not reorganizing your desk for the 3rd time. But what if I don't feel motivated? Let me say this loud for the people in the back. Millionaires don't rely on motivation. They rely on systems. Discipline is greater than dopamine. You don't need more inspiration. You need a daily target and a ruthless trigger finger. But here's the twist. Knowing what to do isn't the hard part. It's protecting your time so you can actually do it. 4. Guard your time like a jealous dragon sitting on gold. Look, you need to understand this clearly. If your calendar looks like a public bathroom, open, messy, and full of people who don't belong there, congratulations, you're losing money. Millionaires protect their time like it's a $10,000 an hour asset. Because for them, it literally is. Warren Buffett famously said, "The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything." Say it with me. No is a wealth-building word. No to time wasters. No to drama. No to every shiny object. No to anything that doesn't directly move you closer to your goals. Millionaires don't confuse being busy with being productive. They calendar block. They delegate. They turn off notifications. They say no so that they can say yes to the things that actually matter. But I don't want to be rude? Okay, but do you want to be broke? If your time isn't protected, your goals are just a wish list. But even the most well-guarded time gets wasted if your environment is working against you. Let's fix that. 3. Network intentionally every day. Watch this. Show me your 5 closest friends, and I'll show you your future bank balance. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration, but not by much. Your circle massively influences your mindset, habits, and ultimately, your financial destiny. The power of relationships. Millionaires understand the true currency of networking. It's not about collecting business cards like Pokemon, it's about building genuine, value-based relationships. Oh, and don't just take it from me. Tim Ferriss's career skyrocketed because he networked effectively, building relationships with key figures who helped launch his best-selling book, The 4-Hour Workweek. Imagine if he'd stayed in his apartment, refusing to talk to anyone. He'd still be unknown, probably working a 9-to-5. Spend a few minutes each day engaging in meaningful conversations on LinkedIn, texting a friend in your industry, or attending a virtual networking event. Create and nurture those connections intentionally, from social to business. Your network can be an almost magical gateway. Need business advice? Ask that successful mentor you befriended 6 months ago. Looking for a new role at a top company? It turns out your old college buddy is a hiring manager there. It's not about exploitation, it's about reciprocity. Offer help, share knowledge, and watch how often it comes back around when you need it. Now, you might be one of those who always gives the same excuse. But I'm just not disciplined. Look, just trust me. Discipline is easier when your surroundings are aligned with your goals. Millionaires don't just have habits, they build habitats. Now that your environment is working for you, it's time to talk about the one habit that separates the financially comfortable from the financially unstoppable. 2. Invest money daily, even if it's $1. Let's kill a myth real quick. You do not need to be rich to invest. You need to invest to get rich. Millionaires don't wait to have extra. They pay themselves first every single day. Why? Because money sitting in a checking account is like a toddler with a crayon. It's going to destroy something if you're not watching. Here's what millionaires do differently. They make daily investing a non-negotiable habit, even small amounts, even $5, even when it feels pointless, because it's not about the amount, it's about the identity. When you become the kind of person who automatically invests, you trigger compound growth, automatic wealth building, a psychological shift from consumer to owner. But $5 won't make me rich. Neither will spending $5 on Starbucks every day, but you're not skipping that, are you? And if you automate it, even better. Whether it's stocks, ETFs, crypto, responsibly, real estate REITs, or index funds. The habit is what matters. Millionaires don't think, oh, I'll invest when I have money. They say, I'll have money because I invest. And now, for the most important habit of them all. Because this is the difference between being rich temporarily and staying wealthy forever. 1. Think long-term. Every single day, even in a short-term world. Let me hit you with something harsh. If you're still making life decisions based on instant gratification, you're playing a millionaire's game with a toddler's mindset. Millionaires think in decades. Everyone else thinks in weekends. Want proof? The broke person says, I deserve a treat. The millionaire says, I deserve freedom. It's not about deprivation, it's about delayed gratification. The ability to suffer a little now for a lot later. They skip the impulse buy. They say no to the shiny trend. They invest instead of impress. They build boring systems that quietly explode into wealth over time. Every single day they ask themselves, is this choice moving me closer to long-term freedom or short-term dopamine? Millionaires don't just plan 5 years out. They build for financial immortality. They want their money to make money for their great-grandkids. And that mindset, it infects everything. How they spend, how they eat, how they network. Every tiny choice becomes a brick in a cathedral of future wealth. The Millionaire Habit Challenge. Let's recap something important. You don't become a millionaire when your bank account says 7 figures. You become a millionaire the moment your habits start compounding like 1. That's the cheat code. And no, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent, because habits aren't about intensity. They're about identity. If you made it this far, that already tells me something about you. You're serious. So here's what you do next. Think bigger, act sharper, and build habits that make you impossible to ignore. In fact, even if you think it's too late for you, trust me, you're not. We've created a step-by-step video explaining how to build wealth literally at any age. Just click the video on the screen here, and we'll see you in the next one.